Join us as we dive into our obsession with true crime, history, and mysterious stories. Each Corrupted Clip episode is less than 30 minutes long, providing you with the perfect bite-sized content to get you through the day.
We assume no responsibility or liability for any errors or omissions in the content of this episode. The Corrupt Podcast is based on the facts and our opinions of the case. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Corrupt Podcast. In December 1996, a woman was found in a Virginia cemetery next to a decorated Christmas tree. For more than 25 years, she remained unidentified, known as the Christmas Tree Lady. It wasn't until 2022, through DNA genealogy, that her true identity was revealed.
Welcome to our 5 days of Corrupted Christmas. For Christmas, we asked you to share our podcast, leave a review on your favorite platform, and join the Corrupted crew over on Patreon. This is also the perfect time to stop and thank you for listening. This year has been amazing, and we wouldn't still be producing this podcast without listeners like you. So thank you for joining us this year.
Thank you, guys.
We do have one more episode headed your way before the end of the year. We're calling it That's a Wrap. So this is going to be just a fun blooper reel, our favorite moments. We're going to quiz each other. Angela and I got a quiz set up, test each other.
Yeah. I'm going to fail. Just so you know, I'm going to fail.
It's your own quiz. You can't fail your own quiz.
That's where you're wrong. I can. And I will.
We shall see. You can head on over to our Patreon for an extended bonus edition of That's a Wrap.
On Wednesday, December 18th, 1996, a Jane Doe was found at the Pleasant Valley Memorial Park Cemetery in Annandale, Virginia. The groundskeeper found her in a section of the cemetery that was designated for infants, called Babyland, but not near any particular grave. The woman was Caucasian, with short red or copper curly hair, and between 50 to 70 years old. She was 5 feet tall, 157 pounds, and wore translucent framed glasses.
She was wearing upscale clothes, possibly from Saks Fifth Avenue. Her fingernails were painted red, and her only other distinguishing factor was an 8-inch scar on her abdomen that was assumed to be from a C-section. The Jane Doe wore a bracelet with a medical alert message: no code, DNR, no penicillin.
Her personal items included a book bag, 14-karat gold ring, a portable cassette player with headphones, a Jeff Foxworthy cassette of You Might Be a Redneck, and a tape of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. She also left behind a roll of masking tape, 2 empty juice boxes, 2 envelopes, and a small Christmas tree with gold balls and red ribbons.
The Fairfax County Police Department determined that the woman had committed suicide just hours before the groundskeeper had found her. She had been listening to a Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner comedy skit, The 2,000-Year-Old Man, on the cassette player with headphones on at the time of her death. Our Jane Doe had committed suicide by drinking brandy, taking Valium, then placing a plastic bag over her head before taping it off with masking tape and lying down to suffocate to death. The woman had a blood alcohol level of 0.14 from the brandy. Foul play was not suspected in her death.
She also left behind 2 typed notes, one which read,
Deceased by own hand. Prefer no autopsy. Please order cremation from funds provided. Thank you, Jane Doe.
The second note contained a poem.
Now I lay me down to sleep, soon to drift to the eternal deep. And though I die and shall not wake, sleep sweeter will be than this life I forsake.
Along with these notes, she also left 2 $50 bills, one for the coroner and one for the cemetery. When police were unable to confirm Jane Doe's identity, she became known as the Christmas Tree Lady, or Annandale Jane Doe. The detectives were stumped. The infant burials near the woman's body were recent, but based on her age and the age of her potential C-section scar, it didn't seem likely that she had recently lost a baby. The Babyland area of the cemetery was also fairly secluded, so it seemed strange that she had just wandered up to this particular section of the cemetery randomly.
The detectives compared the woman's description to other missing women in the area. Over 600 other women were ruled out in an attempt to identify the Christmas tree lady. She had no identifying information, wallet, or even receipts with her. She was entered into NamUs as UP6279 and eventually the Doe Network as 245 UFVA, unidentified female.
Shoot, I didn't even know we had a Doe Network. That's awesome.
It is awesome. And I think the numbers are like she's number 245, unidentified female Virginia is what that means, UFVA.
Oh my goodness.
They've got them coded.
The Fairfax County Police had very little to go on, and the case went cold. They knew she was approximately 50 to 70 years old. She hadn't been reported missing locally. She was allergic to penicillin. Her clothing and jewelry implied she had money, and she had committed suicide. In 2000, a colorized sketch of the Jane Doe was created, but still no one came forward to identify her.
The Christmas tree lady's identity remained a mystery for more than 25 years. She was one of 222 other long-term unidentified cases in Virginia at that time. Then, in January 2022, the Fairfax Police Department sent her DNA to Othram Forensic Lab to build a genealogical profile. This DNA testing was funded entirely by anonymous donors through DNA Solves.
In May 2022, the police received the results back. Othram had connected the unidentified woman to one suspected family member, 88-year-old David Meyer from Virginia Beach. The detectives reached out to David, who was possibly the Christmas tree lady's brother. When detectives showed David the colorized sketch, he told detectives that he hadn't seen his sister for more than 50 years because she had distanced herself from the family. David really couldn't say if the woman in the sketch was his sister or not, but he did refer detectives to his other sister, Annette.
Annette was living in Phoenix. When she saw the picture of the Christmas tree lady, Annette knew it was her older sister. A DNA sample was obtained from Annette, and it would confirm that the Christmas tree lady was Joyce Marilyn Meyer Summers. Joyce was born on July 20th, 1927, and she was the oldest of 5 siblings. The family lived on a farm in Davenport, Iowa. She had moved to Los Angeles in the 1950s, following a job with 17 magazine. Annette described Joyce as creative, artistic, and smart.
Joyce left her job at 17 magazine and took a teaching position at a Catholic school. Joyce didn't have experience as a teacher, and it wasn't a good fit for her. Annette told the Washington Post,
"She had 60 second graders, and she didn't have a background in education. She was very meticulous, staying up until the wee hours to do lesson planning."
In 1959 or 1960, Joyce married James E. Summers. Around the same time, she began seeing a psychiatrist that pinned some of Joyce's issues on her parents. Joyce's mother flew to California for a 24-hour therapy session, but left in tears as Joyce accused her of being a terrible mother.
Annette continued writing letters to Joyce, but Joyce shared very little information in return. Joyce's family didn't know that she moved to Seattle or divorced James in 1977. Detectives would later share that information with Annette and David.
By the 1980s, Joyce was living in a trailer park in Tucson, Arizona, but deeply unhappy. She invited her siblings to her home and asked them to build her a house. When they declined to build her a house, Joyce was unhappy with their response, and after her family left, she never spoke with them again.
It's very strange that she invited her family there to see her trailer and then asked them to build her a house or buy her a house even. Like, that is quite the request of your family that you don't even see or share life with. Right? Like, they don't know that she lived in Seattle. They don't know that she divorced James. But hey, can you build me a house?
Can you imagine how that went down? Like, hey guys, just come over for dinner, like I'll cook you dinner one night or 2 nights or however long they were staying. And oh yeah, by the way, can you build me a house?
By the way, can you just get me out of this house and build me a new one? I'll buy you a steak dinner.
Maybe she felt they had owed her in some way.
I think that is the nail on the head.
Yeah.
After this, Annette said that Joyce literally fell off the face of the earth. So she completely wrote her family off after this, which is really sad.
Going back to the thought of like this being, or her thinking of this being owed to her, she might have, I don't know if her other siblings maybe got extra attention from her mom, because she said in the beginning, like with her mom was a horrible mother to her, but maybe she didn't perceive that.
She's the oldest of 5 kids. The other 4 kids, interviewed later, they did not experience any trauma from their parents. There was no abuse of any kind that they remember, like not trying to discredit what Joyce was saying, but they did not experience the same situation that she did, or that she says that she did.
Yeah. And that would confirm our suspicion of she felt like everything was owed to her because she got the brunt of everything.
The oldest of 5, I'm sure she was the babysitter for the other 4.
Yeah.
So maybe she feels like she didn't get the opportunity to be a child.
Kind of like an entitled thinking, like, well, I did this for you guys, so why not build me a house?
Yep.
And I'm not saying she thought that way. It's just, our theory or our assumption of it.
In most cases, like, you can't call your sibling today and say, hey, can you build me a house? The answer is no. In what situation can you call if you guys have a sibling that you can call and say, can you build me a house? And they say, yes, that's pretty rad. Can they also be my sibling?
Right.
Joyce was not reported missing at the time of her death, but her family did search for her. In the 1990s, Annette and her older brother, Larry, traveled back to that trailer where Joyce had been living a decade earlier. They found 4 copies of a book Joyce had written and published titled The Target Child in Joyce's fridge. Joyce had written the book as an autobiography on her childhood trauma, and she had published it back in 1968. Although some of Joyce's belongings remained in the trailer, she had disappeared without a trace. The family hired a private detective, but without any luck. At one point, Joyce was tentatively tracked to the East Coast, but her family suspected that she might have joined a cult.
At the time of her death, Joyce would have been 69 years old. We still know very little about Joyce, where she lived, and what was going on in her life from the 1980s when her family last saw her to 1996. The scar on her abdomen turned out to be not from a C-section, as Joyce had no children, but the actual cause is still unknown. Joyce's family believes that she may have picked the Babyland portion of the cemetery as a way to point toward her childhood trauma.
Joyce's suicide appears to have been planned, with the notes and money left for her cremation. She even signed the note Jane Doe in an effort to remain anonymous. The reason for the Christmas tree beside Joyce's body remains a mystery. Major Ed O'Carroll at the Fairfax Police Department said,
After decades of wondering what happened to their loved one, Joyce's family is finally at peace thanks to the dedicated work of several generations of FCPD detectives, anonymous donors, and Othram. Our detectives never stopped working for Joyce and her family. Advances in technology will continue to help close cases and provide answers to victims' families.
We would love for you to become part of the Corrupt crew. You can find us on Patreon with multiple tiers and PayPal. This will score you our appreciation and will announce your name in a future episode. Both links are in the episode notes. Case suggestions and feedback can be emailed to us at corruptpod@gmail.com.
The sources for this episode would be listed in the episode notes. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. Don't forget to subscribe to catch our new Corrupt content. Please also leave us a review wherever you're listening to this episode. Bye!
Bye!